Present the James Brown Show. Standing in the spotlight, a group of young men that given the world some of his greatest soul classics. So if you will, put your hands together and let's welcome the Soul General.
What's happening? Here we go. Now clap your hands, everybody. Everybody, let's clap on those hands. Come on. Say, clap your hands, everybody.
Come on, yo.
Everybody, just clap your hands. Come
Right
on. We're going to party today, y'all. Come on, let me tell you something. No, we're not the average band. No. Cause we're known throughout the land. And in Woodstock too, y'all. Check it out. Once you start it, you cannot stop. We'll party 3, 4, or 5 o'clock and rock.
Let's rock.
I can you boogie, let's rock.
Let's rock.
Check it out now. We can set a vicious groove. Yeah. And we want everyone to move.
Say what?
You just let that one flow all night, and we'll sing and play until the broad daylight. That's right.
That's right.
Can you hear me? That's right.
That's right.
Check it out. So we came to play. We came to play. Yeah. We came to play. So we came to play. Check it out. Now throw your hands in the air.
Put 'em up.
Wave them like you just don't care.
Put 'em up.
Now
Put 'em
throw
up.
those hands in there.
Put 'em up.
And wave them like you just don't care.
All right, let's out.
Check it out. Now you
Can sit us in the street.
cause
We can't hang with the best. Come on, Holly.
Well, our music's gonna start a fire. We wanna take you higher. Higher. Say higher, y'all.
Say higher.
Now check it out. Now let's the beat turn on the heat. Yeah. And move your head down to your feet.
Get on down, get on down.
We got the funkiest sound in town.
That's right.
But you gotta get up to get down.
Get down,
Get down.
get down.
So we came to play. Everybody just clap those hands.
Put 'em right here, y'all, come on. Right here, come on.
Let's check it out. Now, don't you know we came to play? That's right, oh baby, that's right, oh baby, mama, that's right. Don't you know we came to play? Oh baby, mama, oh baby, mama, oh baby, mama, baby, mama, that's right. Don't you know we came to play? That's right, baby, mama, baby, mama, baby, mama, that's right. Don't you know we came to play? To play. So we came to play. We came to play. We came to play. We came to play.
We're going back to Jimmy Hendrix.
Who is Ron Laster? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Timmy Willis. Well, I went to Atlanta, Georgia, me and my wife and I, in September of 2017. But before I left Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I got a phone call from none other than Mr. Ronald Laster. And he told me that I better stop by and see him. So we did. And I'd like to bring to you this impromptu interview that I had the pleasure of doing with Mr. Laster. And during this interview, you will find out who really is Mr. Ronald Laster. How did he get a chance to perform with James Brown, touring the world for some 20 plus years? And even though I married one of James Brown's nieces, and when I did that, he became my uncle too. So we're going to find out what happened when Ronald Laster tried to get me in the band. So ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. It brings me great pleasure to bring to you Mr. Ronald Rock Laster. See, I done pushed the record button on you, see?
All right, let's sit down, let's talk.
Yeah, we recording.
That is for your show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should I do the opening so I can tell them how I know Timmy Willis?
You can if you want to.
Is it recording now?
We recording.
What's up? Alligator? No, I'm just kidding. I'm with my friend Timmy Willis right now. We go way back. He's done a lot for us. We met through James Brown, of course. We had mutual friendship. Well, it was a female friendship. I knew his James Brown's niece, and his niece was his girl's sister. Anyway, we intertwined years ago, and we became very good friends. We were on our way to Dallas, and we were trying to figure out why was it practical for us to go home. We could stay in Dallas and fly to Detroit. I think it was Detroit. To do the James Brown and Friends with Robert Palmer, Villavere, Wilson Pickett, and Aretha Franklin. So Timmy just said, look, y'all just need to stay at my house. Y'all can come to my house. And I'm like, like we said, we don't really want to impose, but we look at our pockets, we pat our pockets, talk about, okay, so we can save some money, we stay at Timmy's, and Nancy here, and Gail here, we can go out. So we decided to stay. We get to the house, and Timmy got his doggone train set. We sitting up there, building plywood, and got trains running up, down, sideways. But we enjoyed it. It was a perfect thing for us, and it was a perfect release for us coming from, the entertainment world, like we did. It was a perfect release for us. And, man, they treated us good, man. He got mad at us when we tried to buy our own food. He was buying our food for us. I'm like, you ain't got to do this. No. But that's how Timmy was. And he wanted to play drums anyway. We tried to get him in, but I think there was some other things that kind of blocked him from getting to James, because he could play. He knew our whole show. I never forget, I think we went to the house one time, Tim, if I'm lying. Then we go to the house and you played the whole show.
Played the whole show?
You played the whole show in the house.
Yep.
In front of us. The whole entire show from start to finish.
I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul? Then thank you, because now it's start time.
And I went to Brown and said, look, I got you another drummer, but then Tony and Arthur were so, then Timmy and Tony had established a relationship. I didn't want to feel like a traitor or nothing, but I'm like saying, dang, you can get fired in James Brown in like 5 seconds. At least you have to have somebody on hold, you know what I'm saying? But Timmy played the whole thing. And I went to Brown and said, I said, well, Mr. Brown, I said, that boy down there in Dallas, Timmy, you were down there, Timmy. He know my niece. I said, okay. Tried to ease out the dressing room. but we go way back, and this is always in my corner, and we always stayed in contact with each other. I'm just saying, even when I was gone, it may have been a year or two when I didn't hear from him, he made it a personal mission to get back in contact with me. And once I saw, I guess Facebook, when I finally started getting it with this new technology, because I'm 63, I said, well, he's on Facebook, blah, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. And now he's sitting in my living room right now, still looking out for his boy that we met 30 years ago. And I got love for him, he got love for me, and I hope y'all got love for both of us. That's all I'm going to say.
We need it.
Yeah, and if you need anything or blah, 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 if you want to go into nostalgia, any questions, you can go through Timmy, you can go through me. There's no problem with that. I'm playing in a church right now, and I guess it's like a full circle thing. You start in the church, because I was born in the church, and you end up going through that, and then you end up back where you're supposed to belong, because God handles it all, whether people don't believe that. God has control of our own destiny. And don't think God is too busy, because if he wasn't God, he knows about all of his children. And me and Timmy are his children. And he has guided me and blah, blah, blah. And we're still here right now in 2017 talking to each other 35 years later. You understand what I'm saying? So, love you, boy.
Love you too, man.
Love you, man. I love you.
Now look,
I love you.
a lot of
anything
people,
you want to ask me?
a lot of people have been enjoying your playing and your showmanship. You was musical director for James.
That's correct.
You're instrumental in the James Brown sound.
That's correct.
But they don't know a lot of people don't know who really is Ronald Rock Laster.
Well,
So we're going to try to let them know a little bit about who is the man behind the music. Now, where was you born?
I was born in Niagara Falls, New York. I was born back in the time when, matter of fact, they transferred me. I was in second grade. I think I was like 1961. They had some integration law where you had to integrate the schools 11%. So they started transferring us black students from Center Avenue School. And they sent me to Cleveland Avenue School. And I do have pictures online that you can see. I was the only black. It was me and my boy Harold Gibson, who is now Breezy Gibson, who does a radio show down here in Atlanta. So giving you a plug, Harold. And we were the only two black kids up in there. But I had to adapt. And I really think that's the best thing that happened to me, because once I saw the literature and how the school books were, totally different from what we were getting at Center Avenue. Anyway, I got hooked up and blah, blah, blah. I got really smart. They put me in informal grade. I put me in combination grades. And, you know, I was like way up there, honor classes and all of that stuff. You know, and I didn't really get back into my blackism until I got about 12 or 13. I saw a pretty black girl, and I'm like, I gotta get back, because I was like listening to the Kinks and Dave Clock 5 and all that stuff. And then my friends used to say, man, why are you so white? And I'm like, no, it's not that I'm white. I'm like, the music, it's the music. I'm hearing the music. Mm-hmm. So once I got into the thing, you know, being from a church, and my father was so strict on me, once I started figuring out how to blend, when I came up with people like Dyke and the Blazers, when I, you know, what's the boys that did On the Expressway, those guys, the Soul Survivors. When I started listening to that and started listening to all that stuff that I was listening to in school, there was a blend that came. And I started getting into it, because like Sliding the Family Stone, I don't care what nobody say. If it wasn't Sliding the Family Stone, there wouldn't be no Ron Laster. I loved them so much. When Sly came to town, I dressed up like Sly. The whole family started laughing at me. Everybody, what you dressed like? You know what I'm saying? And it was all good. It was all good. But
Now, Sliding the Family Stone, was that your first concert you ever been to?
well, the first, actually, if you want to know the God's truth, the first concert that that my parents didn't know that I went to, that I snuck out to, was actually George Clinton in Niagara Falls, Ontario. We paid 25 cents, and they had a song, I think it was 1968, 69, and they had this song, everybody's getting funky, we're getting funky all the time. And he came out here in a diaper on, I know y'all should be, the fans would know what I'm talking about. He came out here in a diaper and everything. I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? But that is the first actual concert that I snuck out the house to go to. And I did do that. I did do that. Mama found out, I got a little whooping, but you know, I took it.
Well, that's good. Now look here. You're an excellent guitar player.
I'm okay.
You're an excellent guitar player. I mean, you played all over the world. Now, but look here. What was it about the guitar that caught your interest and made you want to play guitar?
Well, Timmy, that's a very interesting question, because when I was in school, I knew I had musical interest. So I started off playing violin. And violin, to my friends, when I would come home, they would laugh at me. The black folks in my neighborhood were like, you playing violin? Oh, dog, hey, you about to be white in a minute, right? But I still learned how to play. I started learning the basics of the music. So I said, well, wait, don't play violin. So I started trying to play the E-flat tuba. Then my lips started burning one time. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Then I tried to play clarinet. And I played that for 1 year with Mr. Laverne. As a matter of fact, people don't know that my first music teacher was Wilbur Hatch, who did the I Love Lucy theme. You know, that was my music teacher in 7th grade.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's a true story. Wilbur Hatch, you can look it up. But the whole thing, what I'm trying to say is, after I realized, when I was starting to grow up and the hormones got to rolling, them pretty black girls in church weren't looking for no violin player. They weren't looking for no clarinet player. But this guy, now here's what needs to be documented. I'm going to tell you. Some guy, my father, like he's minister and chairman of Deacon Board for years, some guy needed some money, and he pawned a guitar to my father for $10. And he said, give me $10, Mr. Laster, and I'll come back. He never came back. So my dad put the guitar up in the attic. So, you know, kids being all curious like we used to go up and play in the attic and see what we got up there. And I found the guitar. And I think Batman or something was on the time. No. So I picked it up and I started going, no. I said, well, shoot. So I took the guitar from upstairs and it was missing the last 2 strings on the top. So my smart butt figured out how to make a fretboard, and I put a matchbook so I can line up the E and B strings. It's a true story. So it lays that one because, you know, my father wasn't into me playing no guitar, playing in the blues and all that stuff. But my mother was like, knew that I was unhappy because, you know, I was born with scoliosis and I couldn't do a lot of things. And I found something I could do that could probably eventually generate some money. And, you know, Daddy wanted me to be, he was a laborer, and, you know, and all this stuff. And, boy, you need to get up and work, and I can raise all y'all and get up and do something. I'm like, Daddy, if I pick up a wheelbarrow, my back is killing me. And my mother said, no, let the boy, he's smart. You know, he's getting straight A's. Don't yell at him. Let's see what he's going to do with this. Because Daddy, when I got my first electric, after that was an acoustic guitar that I'm talking about. When I wanted to go farther ahead to graduate to electric guitar, my daddy said, nah, I ain't giving you nothing. You get nothing. And I cried. I was a little punk. I just cried and cried. Slung snap. Till my mother said, you know, because you know our mothers love their boys. She said, no. She said, you gonna get that boy electric guitar. Basically what she's saying was, if you don't get it, you sleeping on the couch. But that's what she was saying. So my dad went and got me a $29 guitar and a $19 amp, a Teletone amp. I never forget it. A little $19 or whatever amp, guitar. I learned how to play it. Daddy looked at me and said, you better, because spending $50 back in that day was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And he said, you better, he looked at me, you better learn how to play, you better. Because like I said, a strict Baptist preacher. I mean, like, you know, we went through, you know what it's like to be raised in a strict house. I broke my neck to learn how to play it. Another thing I want to give credit to, the early Cool in the Gang, Clay Smith. I was love Clay Smith, and I found out Clay was
happened just after 7 a.m. And when officers asked him about it, Bates told them
who studied him, so I'm studying the same guy I ended up playing with. Clay's, and I don't care what nobody say, a Sliding Family Stone, my boy, play guitar, that's my man. But anyway, just, I don't know,
well, what was
Timmy,
your
you
practice?
can cut me off at any time.
I'm saying, what was your practice regimen back then? Did you practice every day? And if you did, what did you practice on?
Well, the practice regimen was the fact that I couldn't go out and play because they were so hard, you know, so I would grab that thing. What I would practice on was like music that hit me, like, you know, Slide. That was a song Slide did called Buttermilk. That was his first 45, and that used to caught my attention. Cool in the Gang did that first album, Sea of Tranquility, and all of that stuff, Cool in the Gang. That caught my attention. I said, well, shoot, I can play this. Mama said, you can't go out because you did it. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes I was glad they kept me in the house so I could do my practicing. Mm-hmm. And then I started finding out the guys in the neighborhood that were playing. Chester Coverhouse, God bless him. Anthony McCrae. You know what I mean? These were the people, the other boys, the twins. You know who I'm talking about. And I would follow them around and I would like pick up the little tidbits that they were doing. And I started doing that. So I just started doing it. So I would like, you call it practice, I call it like just, I want to do something. It wasn't really practice, it's just something that I was enjoying doing. Mm-hmm. Later on it became practice when I found out they were going to pay me for it. Right. Now it's practice. But I wanted it so bad and I wanted out the house, you know, like I said, I was born in a Baptist church and I wanted out and I couldn't do nothing else with the scoliosis and all that other stuff and I had to figure a way out. Mm-hmm. And I was smart, I was a DJ, that's what I was, Ronald, the Master Music Blaster, 45 degrees outside in sunny downtown Niagara Falls, New York. I made a good piece of money like that, you know, when I was making the transition and figured it out. I met this girl, Ann Beeling from St. Catharines. She used to love my band, the Fabulous Fidelics, the fellas you got to plug. And we changed her name to a whole lot of things. And she used to come see us all the time because Kathy Jordan was in the group, who eventually married Reverend Sharpton.
Yeah.
But
see, that's what I was going to ask you.
Okay, we're getting there.
I don't
know how you're going to edit it,
at some point, you know, you got in your first band. So when we come back, I want you to tell us, man, what was that experience like for you getting in your first band, all right?
Well, I had bands in junior high school and high school.
Well, that's what I'm talking
If
about.
you're talking about my first band,
I want you to tell us about your
first experience with a band. I had a little group called the Sounds of Soul.
Okay, now wait a minute. When we come back, I want you to tell us about that, all right?
You got it.
We're going to be right back. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We're here with the one and only Mr. Ronald Rock Laster. Be right back.
Yes, sir.
For those of you just joining us, you're missing it. We're with the legend, Mr. Ronald Rock Laster. And before we went to the break, we were talking about his first band that he got into as a guitar player. Tell us what that experience was like.
Well, like I said, actually, early in the thing, when I was trying to go through all these different instruments when I was trying to play. And I knew that, and this may sound funny, but I said, look, I need some guys to play with me. I need, you can't play this stuff by yourself. So I put together this group called the Sounds of Soul. We were in 8th grade. We had to do a talent show for North Junior High School. And they said, what you gonna do? Because I had a partner play. I was a teenage Dracula. But I had a part in that play, and then before that I was King Duncan and Macbeth, but that's nothing, that's back then. But that's all part of me being part of the entertainment world. So I said, well look, I want to play, I'm not gonna do, what you gonna do for the talent show? So I got me, Harold, and just bring a couple white boys, Kevin, because you had to mix it up back then. Now we're talking 60s and 70s, so it's not a racist comment. And we played at the Little Theater against the London Fog, which was like the top group in town. But we didn't even have a bass player. We had 2 guitar players, a singer, and a drummer. We came in 4th place. It was a shot that these little kids came in 4th place. The London Fog, that was old folks. They gave us a shot on the radio station. So we played at WJJL with the Iron Wilding show. Now we started getting popular. Now, here come the girls, here come the friends, here come everybody. Ronald, when y'all playing? I said, okay, I gotta take this thing to the next level. So I started finding out who was really playing in town. So my friend Kevin Dobbs, his mother had to leave town for some reason. And his mom asked my mother, can he stay with y'all until I come back? Because back then, you couldn't do nothing back then. He said, yeah. And Kevin saw me praying and practicing every day. He picked up the bass. He started playing. He caught on fast. He was good. He was like, dang, that's my boy right there. That's my guy. And we started playing, and then I said, well, look, if I could get Rocky now, and I said, we got a band. And we ended up putting together, and we started working harder and harder. And it turned out to be bigger than what we thought it was going to be. So we changed the name of the group from the Sounds of Soul to the Fabulous Fidelics, right? We were the Fabulous Fidelics. Found me some horn players from Crosstown, from East Falls, and got the Highland Avenue brothers, and we got together. We started hitting them, man, we was getting girls, and the music. But see, my thing, my music was a little different. We wouldn't play Temptation, all that stuff. We played that, but we'd also integrate, Steely Dan or something that we would put other people's stuff in there. And we became an interesting group. We had got so hot one time and blah, blah, blah. We got out of control for a while because, and just being honest, when drugs, sex, and rock and roll get in the mix, people start changing. So we ended up scaling down the group. We lost a couple guys along the way. Then we changed the name of the group to a whole lot of things. Now, a whole lot of things. He said, why you change the name of the group? I said, because we play a whole lot of things. So we're playing Frank Zappa. We're playing Steely Dan. We're playing Mandrill. We're playing Kool and the Gang. We're playing Sly, we're playing Joe Jackson, you know, all of that kind of stuff, right? And the fans just kept coming. But then, of course, as we got older and matured, some of the guys ventured out their own way, broke the band up, hurt me to my heart. We had to deal with Warner Brothers, and the one guy said, I'm not doing this. Kevin, my best friend, the bass player, we were the nucleus. He didn't want to go. And Warner Brothers was sitting, they were giving contracts out like left and right.
No. He didn't want to go.
He didn't want to go. He came over with his girlfriend and talked about, y'all getting high too much, Papa. I said, Kevin, what do we need to do? We didn't struggle this long, blah, blah, blah. I said, what do you think? You do this too much, and you do this, and now he started signifying on us. I said, you know what? I tried to keep the band together, but I couldn't find a bass player that I created everything with for 5 or 6 years. I mean, like, to lose Kevin was like losing a kidney for me.
Right.
You know, and I hate that to this day. But he didn't have the same ambition that I had. That boy could play, you know what I'm saying? And I gave him the incentive to play, you know what I'm saying? We played, you know, he would learn them solo, Donnie, everything. Willie Weeks did that solo, remember that?
Yeah.
Kevin learned that thing. He called me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got it. I said, you got what? Damn, Mama never went on the phone. I got the solo. We went and used to have battle of bands back then. We played that, Kevin played that solo. I learned that guitar part with Willie Weeks and them and all that. Oh my goodness. Turned them out. But his mother, they were Seventh-day Adventists or whatever. I don't know. Whatever happened that particular night destroyed the band. We had a band meeting. He come in and sat his girl on the lap. I said, listen, it's a private band meeting. You know, he said, she ain't going nowhere. I said, that's it, y'all.
Yeah.
I knew right there, that was it.
So what did you do after that band? I mean,
Well, after that, you know, I
put another one
tried.
together?
I started playing with them. You know, the guys like knew I was open. I started playing with Jerry D'Amico, who was the white guy on Pine Avenue who ran the music store. So I played with their band. Then me and Danny Spidell, who was like another rival, who was like the best keyboard player. He had Moog synthesizers and everything. I played with Polyphony for a while. Then I played with Jerry D'Amico. And, you know, you get $50 a night, $60 or whatever. But then I started utilizing my voice to become the master music blaster. You know, I'm just saying, well, you've got Ronald Laster, the master music blaster. And I was hot at that time. I was making more money spinning records. But I got so tired of it. Why am I spinning records? I'm sitting up for half the song. I can play 3/4 of the songs that I was playing. I didn't like it. I know the money might have been there, but I know it's temporary. But that's not nothing with Social Security. That's not nothing that's going to, you know, whatever. You hot, get it while you're hot. And I was off for a while. I just did records and stuff for a while. I was tutoring the kids. I had a couple kids. And
well, how old were you around this point?
I'm 23.
23 years
Yeah,
old?
23, right? 23, 24 back then.
Yeah, you still living in Niagara Falls?
Yeah, I was still living in Niagara Falls, and I went back to college. I was going to community college. I was majoring in communications and psychology. And out of the Club Blue Sky, the girl's name that I mentioned earlier, Ann, they used to follow us with St. Catherine's Kathy's friend, Keith Gregory was the rhythm guitar player for Jimmy Nolan and James Brown. They were on the way to Buffalo. He quit. James said he needed another guitar player. Ann called me up and said, Ronald, do you want to play with James Brown? I said, you know, I ain't never really liked his music. Never really did. Oh, that's true. I can play it, but I never really was like, you know.
Well, you was into something different. You
right, I said, because like, you know, I'm Steely Dan and all them other folks. I said, but I'll play it. I mean, like, how much is he paying? Because I never forget the week before that when I was coming from the disco, I was walking across Center Court. You don't know what that is, but the people at home know what it is. And I looked up at this guy and said, Lord, please get me out of here. I said, I don't know what I got to do. I said, but Lord, please, God, please, get me out of here.
When you say out of here, you mean out of
Niagara Falls, out of
that
that scene that I was in right now. Because you got the disco, you got the girls running up to you, you got the dealers coming up to you. I didn't want that scene. I said, Lord, just get me out of here. Let me go play what I'm destined to do.
Okay, now you got a call from the young lady from Ann asking you if you wanted to play with James Brown. Now,
right, she said they were on
when
the
we come back, continue to take us on that journey and let us know what happened next.
I got you.
All right?
I got you.
We'll be right back. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We're here with the one and only Mr. Ronald Rock Laster.
One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who just joining us, sit down, take your shoes off. You're missing it. We're here with the one and only Mr. Ronald Rock Laster, and he was telling us about he got a phone call from Ann asking him if he wanted to play with James Brown. What a question, huh? Let's see what happens next.
So, I was working the disco that night because I was hot then. I was like hot as a firecracker. The Master Music Blaster was on fire. And it was a Friday night, and she had called Kathy and said, look, Keith has just quit the band. We're on our way to Buffalo. Here's your chance to get, if you want to play. I said, okay, I'll be there. So when they got my backup DJ, John Maxwell, Black Prince, so if you see this, I gave you a plug too. So Prince was singing over for me that night, and I went over to Buffalo to the Hilton. And I thought I was going to see Brown. I thought I was going to see Mr. Brown. And no, they sent me upstairs. Like who? And that was Jimmy Nolan, Danny Ray, whoever they're sitting around playing cards. I said, what am I? I said, now I'm rock. No, I wasn't rock then. I said, I'm Ron Laster. I'm the blaster. And called and said, he said, okay, yeah, we knew you was coming out. Pick up your guitar. You brought your guitar? I said, yes, I got it. Jimmy picked up his guitar. He said, play this. I said, okay. I played it, right? He said, can you do this? Pop, pop, pop. He said, do you know the dominant chords? I said, yeah, pop, pop, pop. He said, cool. He said, but can you play Tonk? Card game.
Yeah.
I said, what they hit for? Put the guitar down and we started playing cards. James Brown, he said, yeah, that's the person we want. He said, he's one of us. He said, he's one of us.
Just like that.
And I grabbed Danny and Jerry and took them back to Niagara Falls to finish up for the club, because I left at the club. Audition was like at 10:30 and the club closed at 2. Buffalo about 30 minutes away. I said, it was about 1 o'clock. I said, well, shoot, I'm going to really look good when I bring the real James Brown boys back home. Grabbed Danny, grabbed Jerry, blah, blah, blah. When I walked up in there, they had buckets of champagne, blah, blah, blah. How'd it go, Ron? How'd it go? And Danny turned around and said, yeah, I think we're going to keep him. We're going to keep him. And that's basically how I got with James Brown.
Now, before you did your first actual performance with James Brown, did you have a rehearsal? Or you just went straight and did the performance?
No, I had a sound check. They called me up, and it was really funny. I'd never been on an airplane before. They had my reservation, blah, blah, blah. I was supposed to stay at the President Hotel. When I was getting ready to check in, Ohio players was checking out. I said, well, this must be like, guess I'm being a part of history. So I was like saying, anybody give me a song list or anything? They said, just be ready for sound check. I said, oh my God, and I'm terrified. I'm a little boy from Niagara Falls, I'm scared to death. Got the sound check, met the guys, and all right, Ryan, we're gonna play this, we're gonna play this, we're gonna play this. When I basically found out that most of the songs were basically kind of similar, some songs I had to learn. But I only did it the first show, Studio 54. What was there? Blondie was there. That's the first night Blondie was there. Yeah, whatever it was, that was the first night I was on this big stage, first time in my life coming from Niagara Falls. I got through it.
So how I got my name Rock was that night. James was introducing the band. Ladies and gentlemen, Holly Ferris. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Talbot. Ladies and gentlemen. And he turned around and looked at me because I hadn't met him yet. I had not met James yet. But he had heard me play. And he said, "Oh, guitar." He went, "Daddy Rock." Boy, the band started laughing. Everybody started laughing, right? So they called me Daddy Rock for about a week when they dropped the daddy off. You know what I'm saying? And I've been Rock from that day. From that day on, I've been Rock Laster. The master blaster from that day on. That's how I got my name Rock.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing to do with no rocks. Got something to do with me playing. Hear me playing some rock solos.
Yeah.
Daddy Rock from Canada. I'm like, oh my goodness.
From Canada.
Yeah, they don't call me from Canada. You know, I'm from Niagara Falls. I'm from Canada.
Now, when you finally got a chance to meet James Brown, what was that first time like? Your first time?
Scary.
Yeah?
Scary and excited is how I can put it. Because you would hear all these stories about before I got to meet him, you better do this. James gonna be like this. Don't call him this. I'll tell you something funny, who's really better to go on this camera. So I met him for a minute. Oh yeah, how you doing? You sound good tonight, blah, blah. I see you in Miami. He's going to Miami to cut an album. So he's cutting this album. Remember you talking about what I said, all that. So he's cutting his album, he's giving me these scores. And I did like this, Timmy, and this is the God's truth. Camera, I swear to God, this is the God's truth of my father. I said, James, this is wrong. You cannot play going up and down modulation against him, whatever it was I told him. He looked at me and said, "What you say?" I said, "James, you can't do that." And James said, Mr. Brown said, see, I still changed it that fast. Mr. Brown said, 5 minutes, y'all, take 5 minutes. Somebody take him outside. Take him outside, tell him what's happening. And my boy Sweet took me outside, Sweet Charles Sherrill. He said, "Nigga, what the F is wrong with you?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You can't play them chords are clashing." He said, "We don't have they clashing. You called him James. You threatened his music. You ain't been here for 48 hours. He said, "What did you do?" He said, "You're already mad at you." I'm like saying, "Well, I'm just musically anatomically correct." He said, "No, man, no. It's Mr. Brown. Whatever you say goes. Unless you want to get your check cut." And I said, "I'm thinking I'm doing right."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." Came back in the Douglas, we in the studio in Miami. I think that was the album we did, Soul Syndrome, I think it was, Soul Syndrome. We're doing that album. James Brown said, "You got him straight? Is he all right? You got him straight? Did you tell him what to do? Did you tell him what to do?" That's what James said. And he said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Brown." And boss looked at me and said, "You okay, son?" I said, "Okay." He said, "Now, back to that chord that I gave you."
Right back when he started.
Back to that chord. And I didn't say another word. That's when I started learning, like, just, because he had turned around and said, "Mr. Lester, I have 63 consecutive hit records." He said, "How many do you have?"
Yeah.
Of course I ain't got none, that, so.
And you caught on quick.
Oh, I caught on quick enough to stay there 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how did it come about that, I don't know how many people was in the band.
1,000.
But I noticed that he would go off and you would come up to the mic and you would say, "The legend of soul, James Brown, James Brown." Now, how did you get picked to do that? And then he would come back.
Well, actually,
In 1965, this was the sound.
One more time for the living legend of soul. One more time. One more time. James Brown.
Ain't no drag. Papa's got a brand new band.
actually, after, Danny Ray was the guy.
Yeah, Danny was the guy, but you.
But now they would have their different little confrontations at certain times. And James would not like to depend on one person. He wanted to know that every one of us was indispensable. So that's why he kept 2 guitar players. That's why he kept 2 or 3 drummers. But he didn't have 2 or 3 MCs. So when I came in and he found out I was on the radio, he finally had a chance to mess with Danny. I said, Lassa, you ready to show tonight? I'm like, that's Danny, that's my boy. I mean, like, what did I say? You're ready to show tonight. I'm like, I looked at Danny. Danny said, right, just go and do what he said. He said, you know, he said, I done did this 100 times. He said, he been trying to do this. Just go and do what you say. And I went up there. And all I did was Danny Ray in my voice. That's all I was doing. You know what I'm saying? But then after I started doing it on a regular basis, I started putting a little of my flavor on there too. You know what I'm saying? My little flavor. You know, I already did down. You know, all the way down. That was my flavor. You know what I'm saying? And it worked. And James was happy. He had backup MCs. You know what I'm saying? And he proved his point that I can mess over you, Danny. That you ain't got no power on me. You know, that's. But it was okay. I mean, I got a raise, you know, but then I got unraised later on. I don't know what I did, but I got unraised.
Well, I want to know if you have any most memorable moments. And when we come back, if you do have a most memorable moments, would you share that with us?
Gladly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Mr. Ronald Rock Laster. Don't go nowhere.
One more time, Atlanta, let's get those hands and clap at the living legend of soul, solo brother #1 all over the world, James Brown. Ron Laster.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the legendary Mr. Ronald Rock Laster. And before we went to the break, I had asked him about his music career. 20, how many years with James?
1,000, but it's actually from '79 till he died in, what was it, 2006?
Yeah, 2006. Yeah.
So from '79 to 2006. So you're talking about 26, 27 years, off and on, because there were breaks in between. You know what I'm saying? There were breaks.
So when you look at your whole span from when you first picked up a guitar, will you have any most memorable moments?
Well, that's so many of them. But I'm gonna try to tell you. I guess, and this may seem trivial to you guys, we were playing in Los Angeles at the I forget that we used to play all the time up there in what's the name of that place? I can't think of it right now. Marlon Jackson, right, was trying to get in the club. They didn't know who he was. And I knew exactly who he was. And I'm like, here I am, little boy from Niagara Falls, getting Marlon Jackson from the Jackson 5 in the gig.
Yeah.
Now that was memorable too, because I just got there, you know what I'm saying, when I got in the gig. But I'll tell you some memorable moments. Like, here's my favorite story, and I want to get it on tape. We were in Japan. And you know what, when you fly to certain gigs, you know, the bus might take you, or you might fly or something like that one particular time. But this particular time we're going, I don't know where we're going, from Osaka to somewhere. But we had to ride the bus. And you know, when you take the bus, it might be a 6-hour ride, you know, 2 or 3 hours, you have a break. You know, go buy us a little lunch. So we take a break, go and pick up our little sandwiches, you know, on the plane. And you know, the video games, the arcade games were very popular. They were coming from Japan. So I'm sitting there saying, oh, shoot, they're finna ship this stuff over here anyway. So I'm sitting up and playing this game, right? Putting my little yen or whatever in there. I'm playing. And this bus pulls up with a bunch of kids, right? And they see they know that we're here because the bus that we're riding, we had James Brown paraphernalia all over, so people would realize that's James Brown bus. All the kids, I'm sitting up there, came up and ran behind me. It must have been like 30 Japanese kids behind me. They didn't say nothing, very polite. And I'm playing, you know, I'm looking around. And they were like, when I do it good, they were like, oh, yeah. And I would win, I might kill the dog on what I'm trying to get. Yeah. They stood there and they waited. And finally, when the game was over, One of the guys came up to me and tapped me on his excuse me, autogram. He said autogram. He said autogram. Autogram. I'm like saying, okay, cool. Shoot, that's cool. He gave me the pen and paper. I said, peace and love and happiness always. Welcome. Thank you for going to Tokyo. Ryan Laster. I handed it back to him. He turned around and told his class, see, I told you he know Eddie Murphy. That was hilarious.
That is crazy.
That's hilarious. Isn't that my sister? Deborah, I'm doing an interview right now. Call me right back. I'm doing an interview. I'm doing it. Okay, all right, I'll call you right back. I'm in the middle of the interview right now. Right now.
See? That's that family love.
That's my sister. We just lost my brother-in-law, so excuse the interruption. But no, that was funny to me. He know Eddie Murphy. Now that was fun. I tell you something else that made me feel good. We got off the plane. I think we were in Croatia. Croatia. And we got off the plane. And then I was walking down the ramp and they said, Ronald Lester. And I was like, okay, hey,
Yeah.
That's a true story. I mean, to know that I was recognized that far away in Croatia, because they'd been broke up from Serbia and all that stuff, but they still knew who I was when I got off that plane. That was memorable. I mean, I got a lot of memorable stuff, but I mean, I'm talking about personally, those are the things that I like for me personally.
Exactly. Now, where was you at when you first heard that James Brown had passed?
Oh, I was getting ready to get on the plane. He had called me about, I'd been off for a minute. We had went through something where, I had some difficulty. I missed the last couple of gigs, and Brown said, look, I need you this week. I think we're supposed to play New Hampshire, B.B. King's Club or something was going up there right before Christmas. So he called me up and said, Ryan, I know you've been up and come on back. I'm going to bring you back full salary. I want you to do this for me, blah, blah, blah. Just be ready to get on the plane. Packed all my stuff, because I had been off for a minute. Packed everything, about to go to the doggone airport. And Mr. Bobbitt called me and said, hey, have you made it to the airport yet? I said, no, but I said, I'm 30 minutes away from leaving. He said, don't get on the plane. I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't get on the plane. He said, no, there's money. It's Christmas. Kids need toys. And but tell me, don't get on the plane. He said, don't get on the plane. I said, okay, what, tomorrow or that? He said, no, we just rushed the boss to the hospital. I said, okay. I said, all right. I said, okay. I said, all right. And it didn't really kind of hit me because I said, well, maybe going to get his teeth fixed or something, blah, blah, blah. Later on that same day, that night at 1:15 in the morning, he called me up. Bobbitt called me up. It was Christmas Day, 1:15 in the morning. And he said, the boss is gone. I said, well, he didn't go to New York already? I mean, I'm thinking like that. He said, no, he passed away. I said, for real? He said, yeah. He said, so, yeah, he passed away. And I said, okay. And that morning after that, Channel 11 from here in Atlanta, it was at my house with cameras and everything at 6:30 that morning. Because I did an interview with Channel 11. What happened? I said, look, I don't know. I'm trying to go to work. I got bills to pay. It's Christmas. There's toys to be bought. Now I know my boss dead. Yeah. But I did an interview with them. My girl, what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. But yeah. So that was my experience with his death. I mean, that was kind of. Death don't sink in. Just like my brother-in-law just passed. It don't really sink in when they first tell you. But after a couple days, you realize it sinks in. So-and-so just died. What? But then you be like, oh, no, they playing, they BSing. But then you find out later, no, he is gone for real. And that's when you start really feeling, certain hurts,
Yeah.
Certain hurts.
Well, when you look back on all of it, do you have any regrets?
Well, the only regret I have is like, you know, me chasing all those stupid girls and doing stupid stuff that I should have did and should have put a little bit of money away.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to regret playing and making people happy throughout the world because, you know, they like my guitar. I'm never going to regret making people happy. I'm not going to do that. I regret me not taking care of business because I'm just a happy young kid like a fish out of water. If I had the mentality that I have right now, I'd be fine. I mean, God has blessed me with a nice house, blah, blah, blah. But I could have 2 nice houses. I could have more if I did what I should have done. But I didn't. But God still looked out for me, and that's what I'm thankful for. As long as God is still, boy, I know you're crazy, but I got you.
Now, is there anything you have not done that you would still like to do?
Yeah, I still want to go ahead and cut my last little album. I still want to get with guys like you so we can play, get my friends together, get my songs with Timmy and played on this, Tony and played on this, other folks have played on, get the people that have been dear to me, and let's get together and play something and put a song on. I don't care if nobody buy it or not, as long as we were able to get together and share our joy of music, because our love for each other is going to be different than just hiring a musician. It's going to be a different kind of love when you play with people that you love. So it's going to be a different kind of thing. If I could get that together, put my little album out, that's fine. And I regret that I should have spent more time with my children, and I didn't do that. So that's probably my only regret. I should have spent more time with my kids, you know what I'm saying, and stop worrying about what their mamas was doing, which is not unimportant. But I'm just saying I should have spent more time with my children. And that's basically probably my only regret. I should have spent more time. Kiana, Chrissy, Ronjay, I love y'all. But I'm just saying I should have spent more time with them. And I'm grown for that.
Yeah, well, is there anything we have not talked about that you would like people to know about Ronald Rock Laster?
Well, the only thing I would like to talk about is, like right now, my main thing right now is watching the youth. It's a big problem with me watching these kids walk around with guns, shooting and carrying on, cutting the doggone monkey. You know what I'm saying? Instead of making your family stronger. You know what I'm saying? You can't say because your father ain't there, that's why I'm going to shoot up everybody. That's a lie. You know, they need better training, because when we were young, we didn't have no guns. We fought. You're going to go home with a lump on your eye, but you ain't going home dead, and you ain't causing nobody no $10,000 funerals. So my biggest thing right now is the music industry promoting all these stupid songs, B's and W's and hoes and B's and all that stuff, and they're pushing that up there. And see, they're doing that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You're polluting these kids' minds. And I would like to say, stop it, and let's get back to basic where music was good back in the 70s. Music was good. Every song out right now sounds the exact same. I don't know who nobody is no more, because it's the same doggone song. It's just how much clothes they wear. But if you get back to the real raw music, that's what America needs to do.
Well, you heard it right here. Well, I tell you what, man, I appreciate you taking time with us.
Oh, you got it, dog.
We love you, man. We thank you so much, man, for all the excitement that you have brought to the fans all over the world, man. How you was right there supporting the sound of James Brown, and you was an integral part, even working in the capacity of musical director.
That's correct.
And coming from Niagara Falls, man, and taking on the world, man, you got to be proud of that.
And don't forget, you ain't but 2.5 hours from Niagara Falls, so next time I'm up there, you know, ain't nothing but a drive.
That's right. The next interview is going to be from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, we hope.
So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in, and whatever you do, make somebody happy, make somebody strong.
And watch the Timmy Willis Show.
There you go. It's a wrap. We gotta cut away now.
I understand, but I mean, you gotta do the editing.
Yeah, I'm an editing guru.
I know
She
you are,
tell
man. So what you think, Miss Willis? Am I doing, Mrs. Willis? I'm doing all right?
Yeah, she listening to it in between.
But you gotta get the real deal. I mean, at least I'm being real.
Look, in between nods. She tired as heck.
Go get her values.
We've been running all. We've been running all day,
You
man.
can go to sleep all you want. Want to go upstairs? You need a pillow?
No,
You need a bath rag or something? What you need?
I'm good. I listen while I'm
You at home.
home.
You at home. Because y'all getting out of here tomorrow, so you at home.
All right, right now something for you, Mike. Cool with the gang. A little thing called Celebration. You want everybody to get into it if you want to now. Come on. Clap your hands with us if you want to now. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's get a little party going now. Come on. Say, yeah! Come on, you just sing with me. Come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Now there's a party going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the years. So take your good times and your laughter too. Said we gon' celebrate and party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. Say, what's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Yahoo! Let's celebrate. Yahoo! Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on. Now we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. Now we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. Now we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. Now we're gonna have a good time tonight. Yeah, yeah. Let's celebrate. It's alright. It's time to come together. It's up to you. Say, what's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. We need a celebration. Yeah. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate, yeah, yeah, yeah. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
to some pork chops when we get done.
Shit, I got a refrigerator full of food.
I know you do.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
I got some roasting and some roasted rice and peas.
No, you don't.
Just made it.
Oh, man.
Look for the sound.